Welcome back to the Brian and Patty podcast.
No, it's the Patty and Brian podcast.
Every single time, it never gets old.
That's because it's never going to be wrong.
Fair point. Well, folks, today we're diving into what I can only describe as the automotive equivalent of a midlife crisis. Except our car had the crisis at 6 hours into an innocent family vacation. And trust me, there's nothing innocent about what happened next. So, it's the summer of 2000. I had just wrapped up my rotation at Grady Hospital in Delaware, Ohio, finally getting some vacation time. Patty was also free from her job, and we decided that we would take Marcus, our son, who was 11 at the time, on our vacation, and I'm sure he was thrilled to spend 14 hours in a car with his parents. Here's the thing. We had no pets at that time, no obligations tying us down, so it was going to be the perfect vacation. We were going to do what we do best, pile into a car and head south to Charleston, South Carolina for the week.
Usually your dad came with us on our trips.
Yeah, my dad. He was our co-pilot in those days for these adventures, but mostly he's the one that caused the adventures. But he got free transportation, free food, free company, free entertainment. Sometimes he was a saint and sometimes he was a sinner, but this time it was just going to be the three of us, the core family unit. I remember thinking, how hard could it be?
Famous last words.
Really famous last words. So we're talking about a 14-hour drive from Marion, Ohio down to Charleston, South Carolina. We start early. The weather's beautiful. The car feels good. For the first 4 hours, everything's perfect. We're cruising past Columbus. The landscape's getting prettier, and the terrain's starting to roll. We're watching the world change from the Ohio farmland into hills, then mountains.
And I have to tell you, I was actually enjoying it. We had snacks, we had music, Marcus was being good. I was thinking, this is going to be a great trip.
Famous last words from Patty. So we crossed the Ohio River into West Virginia, the mountain state, and boy, is that name not ironic. Those mountains are beautiful, genuinely beautiful, but somewhere around hour 6, I start noticing something. The car is, well, how do I put this delicately?
The car was dying.
It was dying. It was like watching a marathon runner hit mile 23 and his pacemaker just goes sputter, sputter, sputter. The engine would gasp going up the hills. I'm talking about an actual audible gasping. I half expected it to ask me for water.
And this is when Brian's still thinking everything's going to be okay. Oh, it's just a little hiccup. We're almost there. Meanwhile, I'm in the passenger seat watching this automobile slow motion disaster unfold.
Well, I had faith and I had hope. But somewhere around the 6-hour mark, it became crystal clear that we weren't going to South Carolina. We weren't going anywhere except maybe to the side of the road.
So what's the first thing Brian does?
I call my dad. Now, in my defense, my logic was sound. We had taken him on dozens of trips. This time, he could return the favor. He could drive. What would it be? A few hours? Down to West Virginia and pick us up. Simple.
Except it wasn't simple.
No, and I wasn't thinking. My dad was in his late 60s at that time, and it took him exactly 2 seconds to think about it, and he said no. And you know what? He was absolutely right. Looking back now, he made the best call. He couldn't just drop everything and drive 6 hours into the mountains of West Virginia to find 3 people in a broken down car. Patty and I just weren't thinking clearly.
I think the shock of the situation was pretty real. Here we are. This isn't Ohio anymore. We're in West Virginia. We don't know the area. The car's broken, and suddenly all of our vacation plans are just gone.
Gone. But we couldn't just sit there. So I made a decision that I'm still not entirely sure was right. But it was a decision. We were going to limp this car back to Ohio, back to familiar territory, back home.
I remember thinking, this is ambitious. And by ambitious, I mean completely insane. But what else were we going to do?
So here's what happened next, and this is where it gets genuinely bizarre. We turn the car around and start heading back north. And the car's not just sputtering, it's sputtering, coughing, gasping. It's like the mechanical equivalent of someone who's been trying to quit smoking and just keeps relapsing. Anyway, the pattern was the strangest thing I'd ever experienced in a vehicle.
Tell them about the mile by mile thing.
Yeah, so it would run perfectly for about a mile, totally normal. And then, nothing. The engine would die, we'd have to coast for a mile. Just gravity and prayer keeping us moving. Then it would sputter back to life, we'd drive another mile smoothly. Drive and repeat. It was exhausting and a little terrifying. Every single time the engine died, there was this moment where I'd think, this is it. This is where we break down in the middle of nowhere.
And all the while, there are cars behind us building up incredible road rage. We're basically doing 30 miles per hour on some roads, and people are furious. I can see their faces in the side mirror, and they were not happy.
This is 2000, remember? There's no GPS. There's no phones that can tell us exactly where to go. I had a paper map, which is great, except I was driving. And I say this with nothing but love, Patty cannot read a map.
I still can't.
It's like asking someone to read Morse code. So I'm navigating purely on instinct and gut feeling, which coincidentally was quite substantial in 2000. I was eating pretty well back then.
We stayed on back roads as much as possible. We were too nervous to push the car through Columbus traffic. So we took the long way around, heading towards Newark, Ohio. Every single stop for gas, Brian kept the engine running.
We were terrified to turn the engine off. What if it wouldn't start again? We couldn't eat. We were so nervous. And we didn't have much money. And we definitely didn't want to pay for a hotel. We just wanted to get back home.
Hour after hour, at one point, we were 6 hours from home, then 5, then 4. We kept saying, we're going to make it, we're going to make it.
And we almost did. We made it to about an hour from Marion. We could practically smell our driveway.
And then it finally just gave up down near Marengo, and that's where our car officially called it quits.
And here's the important thing. We were back in familiar territory. We were close to home. We could see the finish line. We called a tow truck. He came, picked us up, and he let us all sit in the front seat with our car in tow. Somehow we got back to Marion. I remember this blur of exhaustion and relief.
And here's the weird part. This happened in 2000. It's now 2026, and neither of us remember the details clearly.
It was just so traumatic, so intense, that our brains have basically archived this experience under we don't need to revisit this again. We remember the broad strokes, the car breaking down, the drive back, terror we went through, but the specifics, it's really fuzzy. It's like our mind said, let's just file this one under never again and never take it out.
And looking back, I have to say, I'm amazed at my own patience. I'm amazed that I didn't just sit in that car and lose my mind completely.
And I have to say, I am amazed at Patty's patience, because at any point she could have said, this is it, we're done. We're sitting here until your dad shows up. But she didn't. She stayed calm. We all stayed calm, or at least pretended to.
And Marcus, that kid was 11 years old, stuck in a dying car for 12 hours. And he held it together too.
We all believed, genuinely believed, that God would protect us and get us home safely. And He did. We survived it. We willed ourselves home through our sheer determination and faith.
We have a lot of great vacation memories over the years, stories we tell, adventures we laugh about, but not this one.
No, this one was not fun. It's not a funny story. It's traumatic. It's the story we tell to explain why we're a little bit more cautious now. But it's also, and I think this is the real point, the story about God's grace in our lives. Protection even when things fall apart, even when the car literally falls apart.
I never thought about it that way, but yeah.
We made it home, the three of us, and that's what matters. We didn't make it to Charleston, South Carolina. We made it to Charleston, West Virginia. And then we made it back to Marion, which at that moment felt like the most beautiful place on earth.
So, if you're planning a road trip, folks, learn from us. Get your car inspected, know how to read a map, and maybe, just maybe, bring your dad.
Or bring a GPS. They invented those shortly after this for people like Patty and people like me in West Virginia.
We learned since then, though I still can't read a map. Yeah.
And that's a story for another episode.
Thanks for listening to the Patty and Brian podcast.
I thought it was the Brian and Patty podcast.
Keep dreaming, buddy. Keep dreaming.
Every single time.